back to Spirit of the Outdoors. I thought I'd sit down while I've been working on stuff today and just do one of these talking videos. You know, sometimes I like to just do a video just talking about whatever's on my mind. So first off, I am working on knives. I have took a few orders on email, because the reason I use email is because the only way I can receive payment just about it is PayPal. And you got to pay for the knife before I ship it. I mean, it's just the way of the world. I have worked, I don't have any other stuff like Venmo and all of that. I have waited, let people send me a money order before I done it. But anyway, I had said several times that I was not taking knife orders. And let me tell you what I have dealt with while taking knife orders, and the reason I don't like to. I'm probably gonna take a few. But one thing, we're kind of slowing down on pottery. Pottery has a lot of expense to it. I'd rather work on knives. You know, I'd rather do Spirit of the Outdoors stuff. I like doing pottery. We're going to continue to do pottery. So if you want, you know, mugs, cups, stuff like that, small things that we make, let me know. We'll make that stuff for you on order. Takes a little while to make it and get it to you. We'll do probably a good many Christmas ornaments this year, but we're not going to push pottery this year. If I can push knives, I think that's the route right now I am looking into going. So if you want one, you need to reach out to me via email. That's justinpeden@gmail.com. I just made this. I'm working on a sheath. In fact, I've got two here. This is sycamore. Now, these are the Jonah. We call it the Jonah knife. And what they are, they're a style of knife as the one that I wear. And I had my buoy on, but I got it up here. I am doing some work on my buoy, so I do not have a knife. And what I'm doing is I'm gluing this stuff down here that was hanging my pants and bending up. I glued that down and I'm letting it dry. But we call this a knife. Now this, there's not going to be many of this. This is black walnut over Bodock, over Osage orange. And you see it's got those strips. Now those strips are not going to stay bright yellow unless you put something over it to really preserve it from the sunlight. They'll fade and turn a tannish brown color, just about the color of this leather. But it is a beautiful knife, but there's not going to be many of these because I don't have very much black walnut wood. Now I have a good bit of Bodock and can get more Bodock, Osage orange. So anyway, let me talk about the emails. So here's the problem. Like last week, I made a knife for a guy. He had emailed me, wanted a knife. Well, I emailed him. It has been a week. I have not got a response from him. So I just moved on to the next person that wanted a knife and sold it to them. And I take them and put them in the USPS mail. And I have had no problems shipping them. They get there, seem to, in a timely fashion. So I am making knives. Now, another thing, y'all, I have a limited supply of these saw blades to make these style knives, because that's a certain saw blade that I use, a Tenru saw blade that my dad cuts metal tubing with. This is not a skill saw blade. A skill saw blade ain't the same thing. It don't have the same Rockwell. I use these because this blade itself has a certain Rockwell. So what happens when I run out of this material and I go to a different material, I will probably have to start heat treating blades, which will be an increase in price because it's another process. It's time consuming. Right now I can get a little more done. And then when I get into forging knives, I hadn't decided if I want to sell forged knives because I have to use the spring steel that I use. I have a very limited supply of it as well. So these are problems that I face, and that is why I have not just pushed making knives. I enjoy working on knives, and I had, at this point right now, I'd rather make knives than I had make pottery because my elbow is, I've had some problems. It's getting better, but I'm gonna have to not use that rolling pin for it to heal. So, but anyway, that is just thoughts that's been on my mind. I thought I would take a few minutes while I was sitting here working on this, and I hadn't had time to get the muzzle loader back out and shoot it. The TP has been on hold because I am working on this stuff, and it is mighty hot to sit out there and just sew. But today, I guess Hurricane Beryl is going up north of us, northwest of us, and it is got the air pressures all wonky jawed and whatnot, and we got a little wind and it feels good out, but it's still hot, very hot. Matter of fact, I'm thirsty. Anyway, anywho, I have not stressed out over the fact of not making powder because, y'all, I don't have a lot of bills. I got one vehicle I'm paying for, and then other than that, it's insurance and utilities and, you know, phone bills, internet, such as that kind of stuff. I don't have a lot of bills. I would love to buy me a new boat, but, you know, is that something I need? We're going to wait till after the election and see what all goes down with that before I buy anything, because I have a philosophy that it don't matter who wins this upcoming election, the opposing side is going to lose their head and act stupid, and, you know, I just can't see a good outcome regardless of what happens, you know. I honest to God, at this point, y'all, I could care less who wins that blooming election. I know some of you's like, oh, no, we need this and we need that, and we may very well need that very thing you thinking about, but I'm just past it, you know what I mean? I could care less at this point. So I have to fold this over and punch through the back side to... This morning I had some things on my mind. I was scrolling through Facebook. I seen some folks on there just griping about people's animals out in the heat, and they didn't think they was watering them to their satisfaction, and I don't know. And you know they may not have been, and I ain't for mistreating, torturing no animals. I ain't. But y'all, I am for minding your own business. If you go by somewhere and you see somebody's animal out there tied up, can't get to water or whatever, just know they probably didn't do this on purpose. They probably busy and got as much going on as you do, or more, and may have some problems that they hadn't been able to see after an animal or something. Does that make it an excuse? No. What I'm telling you is, if you see something that needs water, just go water the thing instead of trying to call a law and act like a idiot about it. You know, I don't know. It bothers me that instead of doing the right thing and going and watering the animal they saw that needed water, they want to get on Facebook and make a big deal out of it. You know, I mean, I ain't justifying anybody not watering their animals. I really ain't. But I also ain't justifying somebody that can't mind their own business either, you know. If you see something that needs doing, you need to go do it. Don't gripe about somebody else ain't doing it. Everybody wants to jump on Facebook and go to, you know, start a ruckus about something. I mean, in this particular instance, it was a horse in a pen, and the person that owns the horse is maybe a little above a teenager, about a senior in high school or something. Working a job, probably trying to do the best they can. At least they're not out somewhere strung out on dope and doing no telling what. I mean, they're working and got a horse out there. And matter of fact, I think the horse probably had water. The people griping about it just didn't know it did, couldn't see it. But either way, it just got under my skin, got on my nerves, and I wanted to gripe about it. So while I'm griping about it, I'll show you how I sew up knife sheaths. I don't have no problem showing y'all how I do everything I do. I really don't. It don't bother me not one iota. Y'all know what an iota is? I'm looking for somewhere to put this. I need a spool to put it on where I can just pull it off as I need it. I'm gonna make that before it's said and done. So anyway, here's what I do. I take this line and I measure the run of that stitch, and it takes 5 runs of that. I always do 6 because I'd rather have a little extra than not enough, so I do 6. 1, 2, 3, and then when you get to 3, you can just double it, you know that. But you count off 6 if you want to. It ain't gonna hurt nothing. I promise I won't get mad at you if you do. I have enjoyed sitting out here, y'all, working on this. We have got gardening coming in. I went and bought me something the other day, y'all, I ain't never owned. A big old wash tub. I'll drop you a picture. Y'all probably seen them. I did a reel on it. I'll drop a picture of it in here. But what I had to do, y'all, I had cutworms getting in my tomatoes down there. I mean, eating a hole in them tomatoes, and the whole tomato just goes, run. So I had no choice but to spray them. I know somebody's gonna come up with some all natural, less, no poison, something to do it, and that's probably the best way. Just know I wanted them dead right now before they eat another tomato. I didn't want to wait till the birds got in there and got them, and they got off in a beer trap and all such as that. It was cutworms, what it was. I seen them. I laid eyeballs on them. So I mixed up a mild mixture of 7 spray, that liquid 7, and I sprayed them good with it. Now I picked most of the tomatoes before I sprayed them real good, but anyway, I bought me a wash tub so I could put all my stuff in there, and I washed it vigorously. I did a reel on it. Somebody commented and said, I don't wash mine that rough, but they didn't know I had put poison on there, and I wanted to make sure I got it off. I didn't want to eat it. I mean, you know. And I know most everybody's like, oh, don't put poison on your stuff. I don't like to, but I don't like cutworms eating my tomatoes up neither. Ain't gonna have it. So anyway, I had to deal with that. Oh Lord, what's going on here? There it goes. And y'all, I got a stitching pony over here I made. Works good, but after I started using them punches I ordered from Tandy Leather, I don't have no trouble poking this through here real easy, so I don't even use it no more. When I was using too small of a punch, and I was having to pull them through with a pair of needle nose pliers. Then that stitching pony was real handy, but now I never even use it. I just sit right here and stitch them together like this. And I tell you what I did on this one. I cut my top pattern. You see how it's already got a hump in it? I cut this top piece a little wider because the last few sheaves that I have shipped out after I wet formed them and got the knife in it, it was almost trying to cut into that welt down there, hard to get through there. So I said, you know what, I'm going to try to remedy this. So I have made the top piece wider than the bottom piece, and then it took a little doing to make it fit right, but I got it to work. So we're improving our methods of doing things and the quality of our product. And y'all, a lot of times I ship these knives pretty sharp, but they're not honed down to like just I just sharpen them. I don't try to see how sharp I can get them, in other words. If you like a razor, that gives you something to do. you know. But anyway, I'm gonna sit here and stitch the rest of this up. I just wanted to talk to y'all, do a break video of not really doing a whole lot, because we have got a lot going on right here right now. So I've got to talk about the TP. I got to get back on it before long. I'm to the part of putting that panel on there. I've got to spread it out and stitch that panel on there and sew them buttonholes up. Birds down there is working my apples over. I'm gonna have to put me something down there to run them birds. I'll give me some pie plates or something. They gonna eat my apples up if I don't watch. They just about ready to start turning right. All right, we got that side done. Now we gotta get this side. I was filming me sewing back sometime last year when I was working on some knives. Somebody commented about how awful my sewing was. I didn't know I needed their approval and their technique, but I guess I was supposed to have contacted them and asked them how I was supposed to sew it. I didn't do it like a grandpa done it or something, or like a video they had watched on YouTube, man. That's what it was. I remember now they commented, oh, there is plenty of tutorials on there where you can watch and learn how to sew. They didn't know all it had to do was hold a knife to your side. People overthink stuff. Overthink it. The hardest thing is getting this. I could get a needle with a bigger eye, but it'd be a bigger needle and make it hard to poke through that hole. I don't have no trouble getting this one in there usually. I got blueberries picked. I have got to can. I'm gonna try to do a video on canning them blueberries, but now I ain't no expert on canning. And I done looked on YouTube. There's about 10 different ways to can them. So I don't know. The thing about it, you can watch somebody put them in a jar and heat them up and cook them all different kind of ways, but you don't know 6 months later if they grew hair on them or not. You know, that's what I say when something burns. I say, well, it's growing hair. That mold will look like hair. I had some of that meat I cooked the other night. I had left it in the oven, forgot about it. I didn't eat all I wanted, but I looked, it was growing hair. We had to feed it to the dog out here. I give that penicillin to Roxanne, let it go in her tongue. I've got Roxanne chained up right now, and I get scolded about that too. Oh, don't put no dog on them chains. Show it on video, eh? Animal rights folks have just come unhinged. But she's killing my baby chickens, so till I get them big enough to not be able to get out of the pen, they can get out them holes around the pen, and I could probably build a better pen, but it's easier to chain a dog up. It don't bother me not one bit. Even if it does, I'll turn her loose again whenever we get them big enough to not do that. So that's why y'all ain't seen her run around. And Roscoe, he's been with me, I mean, every step I made today, but it's done got warm. It's about 3:30 or so, and he's in there laid up under the air conditioner. I purposely snuck out and left him in there when I went in there and got me something to drink. I fixed this jug of water. But I am going to sew this up. I have got few chores I got to do. I got to hide around there trying to tan, but I did buy me a buckskin off of a website. I give about $60-something, and it is a beautiful buckskin. I'm sure it is not brain tanned. I'm sure it's some kind of a chemical tan, but really ain't important. Don't bother me a whole lot. But I am thinking about ordering enough to make my jacket I'm wanting out so that it actually looks really good instead of out of some homemade. I don't know though. My hides that I've tried to tan in this heat ain't turned out good. They got holes come in them real easy. I'm talking about like wringing it out, ripped a big hole, and I've never had that happen. So I think it's just too hot to be bucking and dehairing hides out here I should, if I'd have put it in that room in there with the air conditioner and let it done in there, but man, they get to smell it and I can't stand it, so I don't know. We'll figure something out. And I'm sure I hadn't talked about everything in this video that I really had on my mind want to talk about, so maybe it'll come to my mind. We'll bring it up in a live Friday night. I'm fixing to let y'all go and do something else so this rooster over here gets excited. And I have to go put him in a stew pot. I'm gonna get this right here stitched up though, and I'm gonna probably put this knife up for sale when I get it done somewhere. I don't really have an order on it. I have just about got most of the orders. I said most. I got a few people that's on the list, but I may just throw it up on Facebook. Usually, y'all, you need to be following my Facebook page. I have an Instagram and a Facebook, and y'all, these knives usually go to the Facebook page first. If you interested in a knife and you want to just buy one when it, I'm trying to talk. He's kind of preachy, ain't he? But if you're interested, you know, in catching this stuff as it pops up, you need to be following the Facebook page. I know some of y'all ain't on Facebook. Don't worry about it if you ain't. But if you're already on Facebook, make sure you're following the Spirit of the Outdoors Facebook page. Help me grow it. I'm trying to monetize those two things, it and Instagram, but they a site different than YouTube. They doing that on purpose. You know good and well they are. So since they not gonna let me talk anymore and telling me to hush over there, whatever they doing, I'll let y'all go before I go over here and have to wring a rooster's neck. Remember, the best way to do things, no it ain't, is the way you like to do it. We'll see y'all. Y'all have a good one. Now you can talk.